Alright guys, this is just going to be a quick installation video. I'm going to be installing the Legacy Sports magazine conversion trigger guard to this Weatherby Vanguard. This is the Cryptek 20-inch barrel, bull barrel 308. I'm not going to be torquing them down to their proper spec and marking it off or anything. I'm just simply going to do an installation to see if this is as drop-in a kit as they say it is. So like I said, nothing real heavy. It's not going to stay like that. I'm going to take it back off and I'll put it back on with a torque wrench and with blue Loctite. But let's just see, since I've got it, if it's as drop-in as they say it is. So I'm going to start by taking off the current trigger guard. And yes, this gun is unloaded and it's already been safety checked. So, for those of you who need to see it to believe it. But like I said, it was unloaded before the video. It's been safety checked. And I'll take these screws out and set them aside. And remove the trigger guard. So I may have to pull this off camera, maybe not. There we go. So there's the original Weatherby trigger guard. So it looks pretty good. There's some stamped parts in there, but it's a pretty good looking trigger guard to me. It's nicer looking than the plastic one we're about to put in, but that's okay. Being able to get good quality mags, which supposedly these 5 and 10 round mags that you can get for it are supposedly really good quality. That's what I keep hearing on all the forums. So first impression of the trigger guard is it's definitely plastic, and it feels like plastic. It's pretty sturdy. I mean, I guess it feels like a, I don't know, a Glock kind of. Maybe a little bit cheaper than Glock polymer, but at least it feels pretty sturdy. So, and it'll probably feel better on the gun. Remington, a lot of their trigger guards are now plastic, and I had a Remington VSF at one time, and this trigger guard really reminds me of it. So, the mag release looks fairly simple. So, I don't know if you guys can see that there. It's a fairly simple setup, so I'm kind of curious how well it's going to work. The biggest advantage to this bottom metal or plastic is that this kit, the whole thing you can get for like 90 bucks with the trigger guard and the magazine. And for those of you who are out there who do a lot of this kind of thing, you know that these things can be really expensive. I mean, CD Precisions can be, you know, anywhere from $180 to $200 plus installation, and this is supposed to be drop-in. So let's just see how drop-in it is. So, I forgot to take out the magazine box that's currently in there. Go. Take that out. Dropped right in. Let's see if it screws on down. I know a lot of you probably think that I've dropped off the face of the earth, but don't worry, I'm still here and I'm coming back. So, like I said, I would be doing this to torque spec, which is probably 25 to 50 foot-pounds depending on the manual, but this is going to come right back off. I just want to see what it looks like. So, first impressions of the magazine, it's about the same. It's pretty lightweight. The feed lips are nice and sturdy. I can't mash the feed lips, so that's good. So the magazine spring, I don't know, that kind of feels a little weak to me, but I guess we'll see. It's got a disassembly notch here. Why don't we take a look at the inside while we're here. Alright, so let's take a look at that spring. First impressions of it are it's a little lacking, I would say. Leaves a little bit to be desired. It's definitely nowhere near as strong or as thick as like the magazine springs in P-mags or government AR mags. But then again, it doesn't have to be. This is a bolt action. It's not semi-auto. It doesn't have to push the rounds up as hard. Would I recommend this setup for, you know, your 3-gun rifle or something like that? Probably not. You know, if you really depended on it, I probably wouldn't recommend it. But again, it's a $98 setup, and you know, since this is a bolt gun, the spring may be just fine. That's just my initial impression. We're going to be doing a lot of shooting with this, so it might turn out to be great. One thing that I did notice as I went to pull this out is that the follower is an anti-tilt follower. I don't know if you guys can see that. So that's pretty neat. So really, if I was going to change something about the magazine, I would see if I could get a better magazine spring, which you can get springs like this made for you. So this could probably be made to be more reliable if you needed to, but then again, it may not need to. It may function just fine. So let's put it back together. Alright, so that's back together. The anti-tilt follower is working. Like I said, that spring leaves a little bit to be desired, but for a bolt gun, it may be just fine. Alright, now here's the telling moment. Let's see if it'll fit and snap into place. Seems to be. Everything seems to be fitting. Alright guys, now that I have had time to play with it, I can say it looks to be a pretty good setup. One thing that I did notice, and this may change with use, but you really have to make sure that that gets pressed in all the way, because that right there, that is not in all the way. You can see that this tab here, the mag release, is still pointing straight down, and you can pull the mag right back out. So, and that it doesn't always, sometimes it catches right there, and then you have to muscle it the rest of the way in, but it has to, watch that mag release, snap forward. Otherwise, you can pull it right back out. So you, as long as you make sure you give it a good tap, it seems to be alright. Like I said, this is not a super high quality or a super expensive setup. This was 98 bucks. So everything appears to be sitting good. The feed lips of the magazine come right to the bottom rail of the receiver, as I hope you can see there. Right there. There's the bottom rail, there's the feed lip. So that means that it should function flawlessly. Even though I'm not overly impressed with the construction, it might actually turn out to work just fine. Definitely something I would say is more for a budget project. If I was going to invest in something long term, I would look at getting a steel or aluminum bottom metal. But like I said, things could change. Let's go out and shoot it and see what happens. So until then, I'll catch you guys later.